All right. um, Enrique Zoltano here. It's been a while since I did any of these books, but I watch this YouTube channel every now and then, The Oldest Stories. And I was just going through it, and he started talking about this poem. I guess it's called the Poem of the Righteous Sufferer. And I think he read it out. I don't know if he read all of it out, but he was talking about it, and I thought I'd read it. I was interested in it. I didn't prepare for it, so again, I just don't have the motivation to be responsible. So, but yeah, no, it's been a while, so I'm kind of excited. But we'll see. I mean, it's all about the author. I think some of them are stupid. All right, I will praise the Lord of wisdom, solicitous God, furious in the night, pacified by day. Let's see here. What the fuck? Oh no, I was already on it. How do I start a new page? There we go. I'm just learning how to do all this shit. What the fuck? Solis. Fucking Solis. Oh. Tis. Solis. Tis. Characterized by or showing interest or concern. Archaic, it means eager or anxious to do something. Eager or ancient. Anxious. That's interesting, maybe. Okay, so I will praise the Lord of wisdom, solicitous God, furious in the night, pacified by day. Marduk, Lord of wisdom. How the fuck did he become the Lord of wisdom? Anyways, furious in the night, whose anger, like a raging tempest, is a desolation, but whose breeze is kind as the breath of morn. In his fury, overpowering, his rage the deluge. Merciful in his feelings, his emotions relenting. The skies cannot sustain the weight of his hand. His grasp is gentle to rescue the moribund. What the fuck is a moribund? Moribund. Person at the point of death. Of a thing, of a person. In terminal decline, lacking vitality or vigor. All right. Let's see. Marduk, the skies cannot sustain the weight of his hand. His grasp is gentle to rescue the moribund. Okay, the first thing I want to say about this, I guess, is technical. I like doing stuff like this. Like the skies cannot sustain the weight of his hand, but then his grasp is gentle, right? So, he's got the anger like a raging tempest. It's a fucking desolation, right? But then whose breeze is kind as the breath of morn. right? So it's this, it's whipping your emotions around. Where am I? La, 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 la. In the brunt of his anger, tombs are readied. At the cast of his glance, tombs are. That's kind of funny. At the cast of his glance, he raises the fallen from annihilation. He glowers. Protective spirits take flight. Protective spirits take flight. In other words, your protectiveness is not going to be able to. Your shields are not going to be able to withstand. Your walls are not going to withstand his glower. So, flee. He regards a man's God who has forsaken him comes back to him. His severe punishment is harsh and speedy. He draws up just in time, becomes like a mother. So he's a father and a mother. Right? So he's like a mother here, but like the father, he's harsh and speedy. I'm gonna spank that boy. He is impetuous, charging forward like a wild bull. Like a cow with a calf, he keeps turning around watchfully. So this is just like male and female spirits. His scourge is barbed and punctures the body. His bandages are soothing, they heal the doomed. So, I mean, this guy's just, being an asshole, because it's like, this guy's barbing you, but then healing you, right? That's, I don't know. I mean, some people like to do that, right? He pronounces, finding one guilty of many misdeeds. On the day of his justice, liability and transgression are absolved. So there's these contradictions that are happening. Like, what's up with these contradictions? It's a riddle, right? He's now riddling. Riddle me this. Or he's just an idiot, a glib idiot, right? It is who afflicts with hellish tremors. By his sacral spell, chills and shivering are cast out. So he blesses and he curses. Who intensifies the blank, and this whole, I guess this whole poem's completely unfinished. The author may have went too far, and the gods are like, we gotta crack some of these stones. But anyways, who intensifies the blank of Akkad, the blow of Era, who reconciles the wrathful god and goddess. So this is funny. Who intensifies the blank of Adad, the blow of Era, right? So who intensifies, basically, like, this has blow here, so it's like, this word is going to be like this word. So he's intensifying the fight, right? So think of that guy in the crowd who's like egging everything on, right? That's he's intensifying the blow of Era, right? So he's like, punch that bitch in the face. He talked about your mama. But then he's reconciling, right? The wrathful god and goddess. So he both instigates and reconciles. Right? It's kind of sounding, I don't know, what's the word? Gaslighting, maybe? I don't know. Sage Lord, wise Lord, he divines the gods' inmost thoughts. None amongst the gods can comprehend his ways. So, right? So you have, again, there's all these contradictions. This is the wise Lord, right? He divines the gods' inmost thoughts. Like, oh, that's wisdom right there, right? Yeah, but none amongst the gods can comprehend his ways, right? Like, think about that. Like, if you look upon a fool or an idiot, like, you sit back and you're like trying to understand, like, what the fuck this idiot is doing and thinking. And yeah, so it's this contrast and contradiction. Um, Sage Marduk divines the gods' inmost thoughts. No god, whatever, can understand his mind. Now, of course, you have the repetition. And, repetition can be very annoying, right? One thing that I'll do to this day is if I'm writing something and if just like group sentences into random groups of 3 or 4 or 2, and within these random groups of sentences, if you're repeating a word too much, it just sounds stupid. And so I'll go back, and if I'm repeating a word too much, then that's it. It doesn't sound good. But repeating yourself in song can sound really good. It's dramatic, it's theatrical. It can be theatrical if done good. And so, he's Sage Lord, he divines the God's inmost thoughts. Sage Lord, he divines the God's inmost thoughts. So this is, more poetry by repeating himself. He's being epic. Like, you think of that line where Moses is like, I don't have a sweet tongue, right? I think when he says that, he's referring to the Mesopotamians. Because the dryness of Moses is like the dryness of Hermes Trismegistus in style. And it's funny. Because it's childlike and silly. So it's got its own wise style. But this is a different wise style. This is just like Hollywood epic dramatic stuff. And so Sage Lord. It's... he's performing, I guess, in some way. As heavy his hand, so compassionate his heart. Okay, so now, as brutal his weapons, so life-sustaining his feeling. Without consent, who could lighten his blow? Without consent, who could lighten his blow? So basically, you've got to convince him not to kick your ass. Against his will, whoever could stay his hand. So in these first 2 lines, though, as heavy as his hand, so compassionate his heart. Like, they were doing this for the past few lines, but now it's like, think of it as like music. Right now, instead of like a whole line of rah and then a whole line of ah and rah and ah, now he's shortening it, right? Rah ah, right? Rah ah, and then with these next 2 lines, though, he's obviously doing more riddling, right? Shit. I'm watching the screen, not the screen. Your screen. Okay. Pretty good stuff so far, though, right? I who touched bottom like a fish can testify to his anger. He forgave me just in time, as if he brought the dead to life. Okay, so now all of this stuff that he's talked about before this is his own experience, right? So this is, oh my goodness. This is the passions of his heart, or whatever. All right, let's see here. La la la. All right, now, as if he brought the dead to life. I will teach the people that their salvation is nigh. His favorable impulse will surely take harm away. Okay, so that's a significant line right there, right? I will teach the people that their salvation is nigh, right? He's now a prophet, right? He's prophesying, basically. I will teach people his favorite impulse will surely take harm away. From the day the Lord punished me, as the warrior Marduk became furious with me, my own God threw me over, he disappeared. My goddess deserted, she vanished away. So again, this is male and female spirits. Like his own God threw me over, he disappeared. Like, men and fathers can be very critical. Threw me over. But the goddess deserted. She vanished, right? So women are like nurturers. And so this is the opposite feeling of nurturing, deserting, and vanishing. The benevolent angel at my side veered off. So that's like in Catholicism, there's the idea of the guardian angel, right? And you're on, like, this is funny. It's like your guardian angel is even your guardian angel's taken off. Man, shit. My protecting spirit was frightened away. She sought someone else. Oh shit. Shit just got real, right? My vigor was taken away, my manliness lost self-confidence. My dignity bolted, it leapt for cover. Terrifying signs beset me. I was forced from my house, I wandered outside. My omens were confused. They were contradictory every day. So yeah, omens confused. That's obvious. They were contradictory every day. So it's like if you do tarot and, like it just starts getting contradictory, that would be annoying. With diviner and dream interpreter, my way forward was unresolved. So they failed, right? And they probably have this, people probably look up to diviners and dreamers back then. But even they couldn't, what I overheard in the street pretended ill for me. People are talking shit. When I laid down at night, what I dreamt was terrifying. The king, incarnation of the gods, son of his peoples, his heart hardened against me, rendering indulgence unattainable. Okay, so now I think we come to something significant. Because this guy's criticizing the king, right? He's criticizing the king. But then he first says, or he says, his heart hardened against me, right? He first says his heart hardened against me, rendering indulgence unattainable, right? That's some shit talk right there, right? But look at what he's done, right? Because he's just talked about Marduk, the great Marduk, having abandoned him. And so therefore, the king, like Marduk, right? And that's funny because this is what he says. This is Sumerian shit right here. The king, incarnation of the gods, right? Ninurta, it is good to praise you. The king, incarnation of the gods, son of his peoples, right? He's praising this king, right? But this is obviously empty praise. The real crux of it is that his heart hardened against him. And so he's like this is death. If you were to put into stone that your king's an asshole, then if you were to put that into stone, then you'd be killed. But he just did. So you have to understand the significance of what's going on, right? He just criticized his king in stone. But he's now a wise man, right? And this wise man knows how to treat the toxic. Courtiers relentlessly relayed vile tattle about me. They convened and urged themselves on with villainous talk. If the first, I will make him waste his life. Says the second, I've ousted him from his post. So likewise the third, I will usurp his office. I will take over his household, vows the fourth. As the fifth subverts the speech of 50. Sixth and seventh follow his evil example. The clique of the seventh joined forces against me. Merciless as fiends, they were like demons. Now as one body, they still had each his mouth. Their hearts were fulminating against me, ablaze like a fire. Slander and lies they tried to lend credence against me. My eloquent mouth they checked as with a snaffle. What the fuck is a snaffle? My lips used to discourse. I became like a deaf mute. My resounding calls died away to dumbness. My proud heart bent down towards the ground. Okay. My proud heart. Come back there. So we have the king up here, right? And then right after the king, what happens? He's talking about the persecution that he went through, right? So think about that, right? You have this good man, and you have all these people who are just gossiping and shit talking him, right? This is like a big gossip thing right here. And they're shit talking, and like most toxic people, they will ambush you, right? That's what toxic people love to do. And they like to plan their little plot. They conspire. And they get everybody against you, right? And there's a real criticism of, like, I don't necessarily, maybe I'm wrong on this, right? But as the speech subverts, or as the fifth subverts the speech of 50, right? So there's this real criticism that, all these people are just shit-talking this man, and everyone's just standing around saying and doing nothing. So this is like and Moses would talk about the pissers against the wall, right? This is like something like that. It's like those who are not guilty of the crime, but those who are guilty of allowing this to happen, allowing this innocent man to be maligned like this. And so all of this is happening in this man's kingdom, right? So, I mean, here's another criticism, I think, of the king, because there's injustice happening. And if injustice is happening, what the fuck is the incarnation of the gods doing about it, right? The son of his peoples is not really being a son, right? Um, and there's more to talk about, but I think I want to do that in a bit. My proud heart bent down towards the ground. My stout heart was enfeebled by terror. My broad breast was thrust aside by a stripling. So he gets his ass kicked by a weakling. My arms, once long of reach, clutched each other under my covering. Okay, that's a pretty line, right? My arms once long of reach. So in other words, they're hugging a lot of people, right? His arms used to hug a lot of people, but now he's only hugging himself, right? I who walked proudly learned slinking. I so grand became servile. Okay, yeah, and here we go, proudly again. Right? I who walked proudly. He was grand, but not really, right? Because he lacked something, and we're going to learn what he lacks. To my vast family, I became a loner. As I went through the streets, I was pointed at. I would enter the palace, eyes were narrowed at me. My city was glowering at me like an enemy. Belligerent and hostile would seem my land. My brother became a stranger to me. My friend became malignant, a demon. My comrade would denounce me savagely. My colleague tainted a weapon for bloodshed. My best friend made my life an aspersion. All right, how do you spell that? Aspersion. An attack on the reputation or integrity of someone or something. So my best friend was attacking my integrity. Let's see. Boop, boop, boop. My slave cursed me openly in the assembly of gentle folk. And I wonder why they have that that those two brackets around gentle folk. Because I mean, there's like if that is right, gentle folk, then there's this criticism of the errors of civilization, right? He's criticizing the errors and the attitudes of so-called civilized people, because you have this innocent man who's being just belittled by his very own slave. This is injustice, right? I mean, there's just so much injustice happening to this man, and these gentle folk are doing nothing about it, right? So he's criticizing their errors or their attitudes of civilized superiority, right? My slave girl defamed me before the rabble. And that's maybe that's a line, right? Because it's usually women who get defamed rather than men. Like even if there's cheating, the woman gets defamed rather than both the man and the woman. For the guys, they're just like, yeah, he's one of the guys. At the sight of me, an acquaintance would make himself scarce. My family set me down as no kin of theirs. A pit yawned for anyone speaking well of me. I don't know what that means. The one who blabbered slander against me forged ahead. He forged ahead. In other words, he's succeeding, right? The toxic people are succeeding in this society. So there's this sickness within society, right? A proponent of villainous talk about me had a god for his help. Oh, shit. See, because now he's criticizing the religious, which is also could get him killed. For the one who said mercy on him, death came in a hurry. Damn. That's cold. The one of no help, his life became charmed. The one of no help, his life became charmed. Okay. Again, this is more success for the toxic. Those who are, dog eat dog. Those who are, do what it takes, Machiavellian. This is a very unjust society, right? The people who don't care, right? Because again, this was a man who cared, right? He's a good, innocent man. He's done nothing wrong. He is a victim of gossip and slander and lies, and and of a social reality that, a social legal reality that no one ever acknowledges, because there is a social reality that can't be codified. And that's, popularity, so he's living within this unjust social legal system, right, where the popular ones aren't the good and the innocent, but the popular ones who are the ones who are, the shit talkers. So anyways, I think I want to keep these videos around 30 minutes. I don't know why, but I am.